Hello YouTube friends, Alicia here as promised. Um, so I asked on Junk Journal Junkies, or Junk Journal Canada, sorry, if anybody would be interested in a use your stash Canadian style, I guess we'll call it, because let's be honest, in Canada we can't get a lot of the products that you guys get in the States. I can, simply because I am on the border. However, with the exchange rate, I don't have too much desire to go and spend that much more money on products that, I can really do without. So, what I have started doing is using my stash. Like I said, in other videos, I've been doing that for quite a while, just going through and using things up. However, I wanted to make it, like I said, Canadian style. So this stuff is stuff that I have thrifted. I have gotten, from the Canadian dollar stores, Michael's, anything that we can get in Canada. I mean, some of it might come from Happy Mail, but it's not going to be stuff that I went down and bought from like Hobby Lobby or ordered online from Hobby Lobby or Joann's or anything like that. So, with that said, I'm just going to show you. And of course, if you're in the States, there's nothing here that I'm going to do that you guys can't do, I'm sure. But it's just, like I said, it's using things that I know are available to people in Canada. So, the first thing I have are these giant envelopes. And this is something I picked up at my thrift store. And I did use some digitals, but I did try and limit that for this video as well, because I wanted people to realize that you can do all these use your stash things, and you don't have to have digitals. I know a lot of people are using digitals lately, and I love digitals. I have binders full. However, I didn't want to go and print things, because that would kind of defeat the point of using my stash. So this is just a collaged envelope with things that I had in my collage drawer. So this is handmade paper, coffee dye paper, napkin, more handmade paper. And it's from the thrift store, most of it. And then it's an envelope. And then what's going to happen is this will go in the center of a journal, or in a journal, not necessarily the center, but sewn into the signature. And then I'm going to make two big tags for it, like journaling cards. And I don't think I'm going to do anything to this, because I dyed these envelopes, as you can see. I liked how it turned green from having green paper in with my coffee dye. And so then on the back, I just did the same thing. This is some scrapbooking paper I just tore. It is K & Company paper, and then just some ledger that's coffee dyed. So there's that one. Oops, here is this one. This image is not most likely going to stay in here, but I left it open, and then I collaged on the back of it. And this frame is from the thrift store. These images, the ones that aren't digital, all came from a magazine called Antiques. They are vintage as well. They were gifted to me by a friend. Their grandpa had a stash and he passed away. So that's the other thing, I didn't do anything to the inside of this one, because once again, I like the coloring of it. Let people know what the kind of things that you like, and maybe they'll have something that they don't need, or if they're just going to throw in the garbage, that you can find useful. So, I mean, I was given tons of magazines and things like that from him. This is just coffee dye paper with a piece of washi on it. And it flips up for journaling, more of that scrapbooking paper. So these are super simple. I'm gonna possibly add some lace and things to them, but I just wanted to get the idea out there of, magazine images. And I coffee dyed the magazine images. Now, these are older magazines, and the paper was a thick paper, and it wasn't super glossy, so it worked. I do not know what the new glossy paper magazines will do. But once again, it's plain on the inside. For journaling, I might add some journaling cards here, but you can journal on this just fine. And then this is the back, some book page, just scrapbooking pages, scrapbooking paper scraps. These ones, and the next one I'll show you, I actually have a journal in mind for them, so that's why they're these colors, the red and the gray. Another image that I got from that magazine and I just cut out and coffee dyed. Blank on the inside, and then here's the back with room for some journaling. This one was interesting. So my idea was, I have these dies and they're absolutely beautiful and they're really intricate. So I wanted to make them glitter dies. So this is just obviously one of them, but I have multiple of these style animal dies. And they are spellbinders? Maybe. Don't quote me on that. Anyways, all I did was I used some double-sided tape, wide double-sided tape that I picked up from my thrift store, put it down on the cardstock, and then die cut it with my die cutting machine, and it went through just fine. And then of course I used some scraps, and this is from papers from my thrift store as well, and then it just fits into this envelope, and it's just a window envelope from my thrift store. And I realize that not everybody in Canada has very good thrift stores, but you know, get creative. You get window envelopes in the mail, so save those and collage those if you get a chance. And then I will write something here, stamp something here. It's not going to stay blank because it looks kind of silly, but I just wanted to get this video done. This was a digital that only half, well, not even half, the top of it printed and then it cut off. So I, reused that. And then this was a digital that printed purple. So obviously I didn't want it purple. I ran out of printer ink. This is just something I did a while ago. It is from the same magazine, an image. And then I just made an envelope. And then I have 2 more envelopes. So I have this envelope. This is an image from Carolyn's Craft Tree. Blank magazine image, just collaged all different scraps. This is a napkin from the dollar store that I apparently glued shut. Okay, there we go. And I just collaged it over some other papers. And then the back, I used another one of my magazine images. And I love this. Like, I don't know. I like the way it looks. I like that I was able to use something I had in my stash. And I know that not everybody else has. So, and then these are really fun. So these I bought. These are the inserts from 4x6 photo albums, the binders. But these I bought from the thrift store, and it was wrapping paper. And I just cut it out. And then I sewed some purple sheer ribbon on it that I picked up from the dollar store. So these will go into like a circus journal. Oh, and I did glue graph paper on the back, just all out of my scrap pile. Same thing. This is some trim from my thrift store. This piece here is a die cut. It's a Tim Holtz die cut. I had cut it out and had some extra pieces after my project was done. Same here. This is just collage on book page. This is that Tim Holtz die cut, and I put the clown jumping through it. Some ribbon on the top. I forget what these cards are called, but they're vintage. So I just add the clown jumping through, a piece of trim. This is just random. It's a Rolodex card that I glued a digital on after I did some stamping. I don't know what I used to stamp that design. It was... Oh, it was my, maybe Stampin' Up! Stamp. But anyways, not that that matters. You can stamp whatever you want on them, or you don't have to stamp. I was just playing. Another card. And this stuff is, other than the die cuts, but this stuff all comes from my thrift store. This is a die cut as well, but I used it as a stencil. Or I used the die cut of the stencil to get the red stars. Sorry, I am tired. Another one. And just more collage on the back. So that is the first in the series. I will continue, obviously, as I use my stash. And I will label these videos Canadian style, use your stash, just so you know that I'm using products that I picked up in Canada, and that, you know, you can get in Canada. Not that you can necessarily get the vintage wallpapers or different things like that I may have, but you can get wallpaper, wrapping paper. You know, thrift stores have tons of them. The dollar store has it. Michael's has it. So any wallpaper that you want to use, you know, go ahead and use. These had masking tape on them to almost laminate them. It wouldn't have needed that. It did make it a little bit more durable. But I mean, even that you can do. You can get masking tape and run it over, make it thicker on one side. So yeah, and then same thing with these laces and stuff. I get them from my thrift store. You know, the sewing section, sometimes they'll take apart clothing or blankets or whatever. If I see fabric I want, I'll just pick up that article of clothing and then I cut that up. So there's all kinds of different things that you can use if you think like outside of the box. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I do that is maybe not typical. But yeah, when I go through my thrift store, I go through the whole thrift store. I don't just look in the craft section, right? So I'll look through like the hardware section, and that's where I found some really nice double-sided tape. I'll look through the book section, the clothes section, you know, and just kind of keep my eye out for ways I can use different things, which is partially why I have way too much stuff in the first place, but there is that. Oh, and of course games, and cards, and whatever you can think of. I've probably used it. So, like I said, I will label this Use Your Stash Canadian Style, and I will be doing a series as I make things, and I'll be posting them. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you all soon.